So just a little while ago, President Biden said that he is confident that we are on the right track in the battle against COVID. My next guest calls the president's response to the pandemic, quote, incompetence of a monumental scale. Christie is former governor of New Jersey and former presidential candidate and author of Republican Rescue. Governor, always good to have you here. So, obviously the president wants to stay upbeat. He wants to impress upon people that he thinks that eventually things are going to improve. When Vice President Harris said that we were in a period of malaise, that got her a ton of criticism. So is he wrong to try to convince people that we're on the right track?
Yeah, he's wrong because, as my mother used to tell me all the time, Martha, actions speak louder than words. This is a guy who forced the Congress to appropriate 1.9 trillion additional dollars in January of this past year, 2021. And we still have monumental lines for testing in this country. We have a testing shortage in this country. That is unacceptable nearly 2 years into this pandemic with all the money that President Biden has thrown at this problem. So we have a huge problem in that regard. We have him bowing down to the teachers' unions. When are the teachers' union in Chicago, for instance, going to tell us how they're going to make up the days they're missing? Are they ready to work over the summer, work during other scheduled breaks to be able to get our children back into school? And what are they going to do in places like Chicago and other places regarding crime in this country and the monumental increase we've seen in crime? Martha, he needs to let his actions speak louder than his words.
Well, I think it's a great point, and we've raised that same question. I think posing it to the Chicago Teachers Union, you're committed to 176 days of teaching a year. So you've now counted off 4 of those. So you're now 4 days into the summer or 4 days into your spring break. And if the president stood up and said this to them and said, you need to get back to work today, or we're going to start crossing off days of your summer, imagine how powerful that message would be to these teachers unions, right?
Absolutely. Listen, let's remember the difference between Joe Biden and Ronald Reagan. One of the many differences. When federal unionized employees were doing things to harm the country, the professional air traffic controllers, Ronald Reagan said, get back to work or you're all going to be fired. They didn't believe him. He fired all of them and he stood by it. And it let everybody around the world know that he was serious and that his word meant something. Joe Biden is a captive of the teachers union. His wife is a member of the teachers union. They might as well have a permanent teachers union office in the White House. It's ridiculous. We need to get our kids back to school. The harm that's being caused to our children every day and their short-term and long-term future is ridiculous. And the president can fix this very quickly, as you said, by standing up and saying, I want every teacher in this country to get back to work. If he did, they'd do it.
Yeah. One of the things that I think President Trump definitely got right during the early stages of COVID was his impatience, right? He said, no, we can't wait for this vaccine. We're going to do Operation Warp Speed. We have to get it now. And I'm thinking back to that and the possibilities that you could have for this president to be, at a testing center while they're churning out tests at record speed and saying, here's what we're doing, and we're going to get them directly to the older generation, and we're going to get them directly to vulnerable people first, and really be proactive about making sure that happens and showing impatience for what's going on.
Well, Martha, you're exactly right. That's what leadership looks like. Instead, what we see is somebody who looks lost. Joe Biden every day looks like he's looking around saying, how did I get here? And what do I do now? I mean, this is not a leader. This is someone who was put in place by the Democratic Party purely to get rid of Republicans and Donald Trump, and they had no idea what he was going to do when he got there. And what they've done is they have co-opted him. He is now just a tool of the far progressive woke left. His policies indicate that, and he doesn't know how to lead. It is sad to watch, Martha. And if it wasn't causing such damage to our country, we could just sit back and wait for the 2022 elections to stop him. But we can't. We have to start right now. And we got to start with this voting rights issue, because we cannot have the Biden administration and the incompetence they're showing in COVID take over our voting system in this country. That would be a complete disaster.
You sound like you have a little cold. You don't have COVID Omicron again, do you?
I do not. I do not. Just a little bit of laryngitis, Martha.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Governor, thank you. It's always good to see you. We'll see you soon.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.